Not that anyone
I think
cares.
it's better you clean your lens because
Yeah,
I
maybe.
think
Maybe that's
it's
it.
a little dirt.
I'll try to find a tissue in a second. So how was the? Let me ask you this, like me, that I'm not in the area of technology. What is your guys' routine like? What is the routine of a person, of an IT person look like? Um,
From you ask this for me?
yeah, we can start that.
Yeah. So I'm started the morning, drink a coffee and start coding and coding and coding, coding
So
and
just
coding
coding the whole
again to
day.
the 6 p.m.
Wow. Does it sound familiar, Pierre, Lucas, and Rafaela? Is this also your
Yeah,
routine, coding
I
from
think
top to bottom?
yeah, I think it's a little bit different for everyone, but yeah, I can relate to the most of the steps of this. So
Most of the steps.
yeah,
Coding,
so
coding.
coffee is almost mandatory. Uh,
Okay.
although some days here I replace coffee for tea,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah,
pretty
you're in
good.
England now, so you have to,
Yeah,
make use.
and yeah, I what I usually do is I start my day planning the activities that I would like to carry on that day, um, and then I start implementing them. If there is any meeting, I'll take a look in the calendar at the beginning of the day so I am aware of any meetings that I need to attend to. Uh, but yeah, most of the time is planning, coding. Sometimes when something different happens, you I need to perform some investigation. So yeah, that also takes a good time as well.
I see. Pierre, do you have any little summary of what your day looks like?
So in my case, I drink my coffee
Hmm.
um, like about 5 p.m. Oh, it's so early, and the sun is not in that time. But it's good to pay attention to be concentrated. And after
Breakfast at 5 a.m.
5 a.m.,
The
yeah,
sun hasn't even come out yet. Wow.
yeah,
You are
um,
an early bird.
exactly. And after that, I am using I am getting used to read some articles in IT career, etc. But it's a new job for me. Read some articles, and after that, I'm coding. I coding more.
Awesome. So I'm building a community on Discord. I even want your opinions, your guys' opinion on this, whether we should be using Discord or another platform. And there you could be sharing those articles with us, with each other, so we can maybe learn together. Perfect. So enough small talk. I want to hear from Lucas now. Lucas is our special guest. Lucas has been in my life for a while. We met like a big, I think, like 3 years ago or so.
It was
I had this,
2018.
yeah, 19, yeah. So I had this project called the Coffee Club, and he was a part of it. It was just like this, weekly meetings, but general topics. And during this time, I did that for over 100 weeks. 6 months of those weeks were in person, and then the pandemic came and we started going online. Which was great because we started talking to people from all over the world, from Egypt, from Chile, from Argentina, from Canada, the UK, Australia, many people from several countries. So going online helps us do that. And Lucas was one of the members of the Coffee Club while I was online. And I believe like he even gave us a testimonial. We helped him with the confidence that he needed to pass the interviews and get the results he has today. So I brought him today, like because he can share some of his process. So going from learning English to applying for jobs to relocating to England. What was his experience like, and answering your questions and stuff. So don't refrain from going technical, okay? Even if I don't understand, like this is a tech conversation, so you don't have to worry about me. So like you can talk to each other in the ways that you can understand. So Lucas, can you share some of your history?
Yes, sure. Cool. So, and Lucas, for those who do not know me, I am a software engineer. I work for a company here in UK since last year. I started attending to the Coffee Club in December to 2019. So almost 4 years ago. So it was a long time. And yeah, when I first came to Gustavo, I was in that state. I think it happens to most people. You have certain knowledge of English, but you're stuck in a certain level, and you can go beyond that. So was the time when I realized, okay, I need some, I need to approach this in any way. So I met Gustavo and the Coffee Club. I liked the idea, and really helped me a lot to 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 build confidence and to have more to not be afraid of asking things, of communicating in English. If you have the opportunity to talk with people from any other parts of the world, you will notice that they don't even try to speak perfectly like Brazilians do. That's a pretty Brazilian thing. And it's interesting. They don't worry about accent and that stuff, but they communicate pretty well. Everyone can understand, and I think that is the main point. If you have another language, if you speak at least 2 languages, that's amazing. So yeah, I think for most people don't speak more than one. So I think you are ahead of the curve, and in IT, I think it's particularly important. Even if you don't want to live abroad, even if you don't want to work for companies from other parts of the world, is important because most of the technical stuff is written in English. Most of the academic stuff related to IT is written in English. So it's very important, even if you don't want to take this adventure of living outside Brazil and work for a remote company.
Awesome. Just a little comment on the learning curve of a person who's learning a language. There is 2 kinds of growth in life, basically. There's the exponential growth and the logarithmic growth. Have you guys learned of that? Heard of that?
Yep.
So language, like exponential growth, is a growth that goes like this. Like it starts slow and then it speeds up at one point. The logarithmic growth goes the other way, the opposite way. So it's fast in the beginning, and then it gets slower with time. So this is what happens to language. We learn a lot in the beginning. So, I know how to say hello, I know how to say goodbye, I know how to say numbers, I know how to say, like, we start getting confidence because we go up very quickly on the curve. And then the more we learn, the harder it gets for you to keep on learning. So it gets to a point in which you are doing the same habits that you had in the beginning in a level that you need different habits. And this is when you should act differently. You should change your habits, intensify your contact, you should talk to people. And this is why conversation clubs like this really help, because it's unpredictable. Like people with different accents, different backgrounds, different technical, like professional backgrounds as well. And this kind of unpredictability can help, change things up a bit and stress your brain to progress in your level of English. So Lucas is a software engineer, right? Am I right? So do you guys have any questions regarding his career?
Don't be afraid.
So, what is the most advantage? Working remotely or working allocated?
You mean attending to the office, right? Commuting
Right.
to there.
Yeah. For example, working here in Brazil and receiving dollar, or relocate, for example, in your case, go to UK and want your money there. What is the most advantage for you?
Yeah, that is a very personal question. For me, it was most advantage to live abroad because it was a desire of mine. But most people who wants to work remotely, they want to live in Brazil because you are earning in a more my strongest currency, and that allows you to save more money and buy more things and stabilize better your life. But it's also possible to do this living abroad. So if I live near London, so this comes with a price tag. London is a big city. There's a lot of things. Everything is more expensive, and it makes sense that I can save less money that I would in Brazil. Totally normal. But I wanted to have this experience. But you can perfectly save more money living UK if you go, for example, for the countryside. If you live in a smaller city, and I think this applies to the most countries like Canada and UK. If you live in small places, the overall cost of everything is lower, and then you can save more money. And you need to think also about things that you like to do that you can do in Brazil. So, for example, of course, I can do in Brazil, traveling to other countries in Europe. Yeah, I can totally do that, but it's easier to do from here because it's near. You have more flights. The flights are cheaper, and you can do it more quickly, right? So it's a very personal question. I think Elton kind of does this. He lives in Brazil, but he works for a company in Europe. I know some other people who also does that, and it's really a choice. Many people don't want to leave the country that they are used to. They have a very established life. They just want to earn more to be able to do more, to have more money saved, and that's totally okay. So it really depends of what do you want to live.
Which
Okay.
part of the UK do you live?
I live in Watford, which is really strange because it's written Watford. The pronunciation, for some reason, is Watford. Uh, and it's a city that is north side of London. So it's like, if you think like São Paulo, they have nearby cities that glue together. It's the case with Watford, but it's near London area. I think where do
What
you
do you
go?
guys?
I think that I will
Sorry.
miss the food here from Brazil. I think that I that I couldn't eat for much time in they eat from other country, because our meat are extremely good.
Talking about food, did you know that it's very common for people who come from Brazil and they spend some time here, like 1 week. In the first days, they have some troubles with the food because it's very different of what they are used to eat. So some people had some sort of food poisoning, but that goes well after some days. You get used to, and then you don't have this problem anymore.
How did
I
you feel in the
don't
beginning, Lucas, regarding
I
this?
don't agree with this. I did an student exchange last year in London, Ireland, Scotland, and France. But the most of the time it was in London, and I don't get used to the food. I a new type of food called by meal. Oh, I hate this type of food. It's like a combo. It's like a mix. You have a sandwich and beverage and some snacks
It,
for £5. Oh,
oh, I think
Thousands.
I think that is the meal deal, right? You find everywhere.
yeah,
Like you buy
yeah,
a
exactly.
bottle of juice, a small sandwich, and some other thing, and they call that a meal deal. So a lot of people
Exactly.
eat that because they are in a rush, and it's cheaper. It's like £5 or £6.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
some even cheaper than that.
The
I
taste is
have, yeah. It's not good. I have tried. I don't like it. Many people don't
I
like it.
ate I ate this for almost 2 weeks, and oh, I lost 5 kilograms for my
Yeah.
body.
I think
Uh,
think on the good side, right?
uh, about your question, Rodrigo, I work in a British company for almost 2 years, and I receive in different currencies. And I was in London last year to live there. The experience is amazing. It was amazing, but it's so expensive. And in Brazil, receiving another currency, you can enjoy more things. I think, but depends on the people, on the person.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Uh, yeah. One addition is before I moved to here, I worked remotely for a company from Scotland for almost 1 year and a half. So I had also this experience of working for a company abroad and living in Brazil. It makes your life easier and everything. But yeah, I still wanted to live, really live abroad. It has been a really um, it has been a great experience. It opens your mind of how to sort things out that sometimes you may don't even realize that you need to sort out because, right, different country, different culture, different taxes, different things you need to pay, and you need to sort this out. It is a really big experience for you. If you like the challenge and you want to live abroad, is a nice thing to do. But yeah, London is madly expensive.
But you had to move to London. I mean, you have to be near the office and everything, or you could be anywhere in the world.
I can live anywhere in UK.
Mm.
So the decision to live in London was a personal decision, even knowing that would be more expensive because, okay, I go into UK. I think I can live 1 year uh, in London, which it has passed already. So my rent contract expires in August. So I'm thinking to move far away so I can save more and live a more quiet life.
To the Philippines or something.
No, not in UK, but far from London. So I'll be able to save more, spend less in rent and transport and everything. Um, but yeah, this decision was, yeah, it was a personal decision, and I was planning to review after some time, and which I'm going to do in the next 2 months. But it has been good. London has a lot of things to do, place to know, a lot of historic places,
a lot of
and
Indian restaurants.
yeah. And I think I already mentioned that to Gustavo, but the best thing that I did in London, I got a signature from Brian May.
I'm sorry
Holy
to
shit.
offend you, but I don't know who that is. Who?
No, that's not possible.
Brian May is from
Brian
Queen.
May?
Brian May.
Yeah,
Brian May.
he plays
Yeah,
guitar.
guitarist.
Play
I'm a
guitar.
terrible person. I don't know names of people in bands.
Dr. Brian May.
Yeah.
He's a doctor.
Yeah.
Yes, he's astrophysicist. I have two books of him
Wow.
here, and I bought two books. So I went to a line and was a queue to get the autograph. So got the first one. I went to the end of the line and I got the second one because no one recognized me. So I have two actually.
Wow.
Cool.
Amazing. So he's the guitar player in the original Queen
Yes.
band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Didn't know that. He also is an astrophysicist. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of things that you like, because you love Queen and you love the stars,
Yeah.
physics and stuff.
Yeah. And it was astronomy event, Astrofest. And that's the interesting thing. Even if you have a rock star in your astronomy event, that won't attract too many people. There was no many people there, so the line was the queue was big, but not so big. I was expecting to see way more people there, which was good. I managed to get the autograph. I managed to see him. It was nice.
Awesome. Great. So can you tell us a bit more about your, like, are you guys curious about his application process and everything, selection process, interview?
If you want talking about the selection in other countries, it's will be awesome.
Yes. So yeah, keep in mind that this change a little bit depending of the company, depending of the country that you're applying to, but usually these processes, they have three phases. One is the screening interview or screening phase. It can be more than one interview, right? So basically, it's a first talk to get to know you, your experience. The company is trying to see if you are a candidate that can align with the company values. The second one is the technical interview or technical pairing, where they will evaluate your technical skills. And if you manage to get to pass on those two, then you receive a proposal. Then there's a bit of negotiation, which I always recommend you to do. But before you get to this point where you're in selection process, I'm not sure how you guys search for jobs abroad. I had, when I was looking for jobs abroad, I had several ways to look for them. One was specific technology groups on Slack, on Telegram, Discord, mail lists. So you, for example, if you are looking for Golang, one good place to start is the Gophers, the Slack group. So it's a international group. So you find people from everywhere. But yeah, that is very specific. So if you're looking for a job for any other sort of technology, you may need to search for these groups. Another option is look for websites that specialize in remote positions and positions that offer a location. So in this regard, there's two that I personally recommend. One is We Work Remotely, or WWR for short. And the other one is relocate.me. The second one only lists jobs that offer a relocation package, and mostly for Europe. You can find some Canada positions and US positions there, but primarily for Europe. Another option, and this one is new for me, because it's not new, but I never use it. But I have followed some people who work like that. is a recruitment agency. There's some of these agencies that are quite specialized in certain technology. So in UK, there, for example, Vistas recruitment, mostly specialized in Golang recruitment. And that is one option that I recommend you to avoid, because the companies try to avoid them, because is the one that costs more money from the company point of view. So if the company goes and tries to find a candidate through a recruitment agency, will be more expensive for the company. So they try to avoid that. And there's outsourcing companies, like I'm trying to remember. There is one that is famous in Brazil.
Turing.
Turing is one. There is another one that is very famous and
Proxify
very
based.
disputed. I
Proxify
actually I went.
very bad.
I have a profile on Turing as well. I made some selection process there. But yeah, outsourcing companies are also an option. Mostly of this company, the thing with outsourcing is mostly they don't offer relocation, right? So mostly if you want to keep living in Brazil and work for a company abroad, outsourcing is a good way to go, because you start earning in a foreign currency, but you don't have the need to relocate yourself to a different country. And that is a five way to get jobs. That is the traditional indication, right? Or referring. So companies love this, because if I have a position open in my company and I have a friend that would like to refer, for the company is more cheaper to do it this way, because they don't have to do it through a recruitment agency. And the main takeaway is these candidates, they are kind of vetted by the engineers that the company already has, right? Because if you are referring someone, you are interested that these people get hired, so you can get a bonus or a prize or something like that. And for the company is also a good option, because it's less expensive. So it's a win-win, right? So for people who are referring, for the company, and for people who may get hired, right? So everybody wins in this case. But yeah, so the three phases of the process are screening, technical interview or technical pairing, and proposal. And bear in mind that each step of this can have one or more interviews. So it's very common that you have one interview for each, but you might have more.
Okay. Are you a Golang developer?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Talking about Golang,
Here,
I have
here is amazing.
That's the mascot of the language.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Oh,
it's
nice.
Gopher.
It's called Gopher, but I think it was based on the beaver, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a very cute animal.
Yes. I believe
About,
Rafaela has a question, right?
oh,
Just gonna write her question. Let me read it out loud so it's recorded. So, hi Lucas, good to see you again, this time through Google Meet. My question is, during the beginning of your career abroad, did you ever face the imposter syndrome? If so, how did you deal with the situation and overcome feelings of insecurity and self-doubt?
Right. So that I think not only on the beginning, I think every day, right? Um, I think for me, I bear in mind everyone is is everyone can fail. So dealing with failure is a thing that we need to learn. So, and is the culture is, if you are people in engineering, many people think you are really, really smart and you won't commit any errors. But the thing is, we do commit errors a lot of times. So I think the most important thing is, okay, I feel insecure about what my knowledge or what I have been doing, if it's a good work or not. If you have these feelings, what I usually try to do is to point out the things that I think that are a deficiency of mine, so things that I should improve, and I ask for some colleague what they think about. I think for people who have this and asking for someone what they think, it may be very, even an extra step that is very hard to do. But you will notice it that some people may point out things that are qualities that you have that don't even you realize that you have, and that kinds of boosts your desire to be to improve, right? So the thing, how I usually deal with this is try to point out try to list the points that I think I should improve, ask for colleagues what they think, how can I improve myself, what I think about my work. And if you have a very supportive team, that that helps a lot. And then I start working on these points. So after some time, you'll see, and you keep a loop of doing that, right? You can always improve. So certain things that I was insecure some years ago, I'm not insecure anymore. Nowadays, I have new things that I feel insecure about, but I usually work in this way. So it's a continuous improvement loop that I personally keep. I not recommend that you follow this process, right? It's just it works for me. It might not work for some people.
Interesting. So that's a good conclusion. We are always imposters every day, and you just change what you are insecure about. You're always insecure about something, and I believe even if you're not insecure about something, it means you're not evolving. It means you're not growing. And constant feedback. This is interesting. So you're constantly talking to people. Do you have like a group of people that you always talk to, or just random people that show up in your routine?
Yeah, I use in this regard. I use part of the company culture to in my advantage, but you might not be so lucky. So this is why I mentioned you can ask. But we have one-to-one pairing sessions. So we discuss. Sometimes we talk about anything else than programming, like photography and astronomy, eclipses, and whatsoever. Sometimes the conversations is strictly technical. So, and I use these talks to ask the points that I should improve, and the managers use these talks to measure the overall health of the team. So what they are interested to know is there anything that is not going well in the team, if there is anything that we should change, any process that we should modify in order to team to perform better. So if you have any concern about that, they want to know. So they ask you about that. And if you feel that if you want feedback from them, and that's what I do. I ask from them, okay, I think this and this point I can improve. What do you think? And then I collect feedbacks from there, and I keep this looping of constant feedback and improvement.
Nice.
About
Hi, Fernanda.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Faye.
I think Pierre was. Sorry. What is the correct pronunciation of your name?
yeah,
Pierre.
Hilaya.
Sounds like French.
Yeah.
Is that a Pierre or Pierre?
Some people says that it's not the correct pronunciation in German.
Okay, I think he was talking about Pierre here.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're so used to hearing this
Oh,
question. Man. How
but
was it?
that's
Your surname?
Fernanda last name, right?
Yeah,
Shire.
her last name is
Shire.
also a challenge.
Yeah.
How is it again? Shalier?
Yes, it's how we call it. But they say that in German it's not said like that. I
How is
don't
it in
really
German?
know how it is.
You know?
No.
Okay. So Pierre, you're saying
About
something.
the process, the interview process. Did you have problems with your English level in the beginning, when you started in the company, or before that?
Uh, yeah, I would say the first attempts that I had for remote companies. So let's go back to 2020. Then that was the year that I started to looking for jobs abroad. At the first, I had some issues, but after some practice, and if you keep studying English frequently, you overcome that. So your main concern are not the language anymore. Will be the how to communicate that technically using English. So from when you move to that point, I think are in a good position to go to interviews and go well. Uh, but yeah, so for this particular process, the last that I participate, English wasn't really a problem.
In my case, when I started in a British company, my boss is a British guy, and sometimes he talks if he has an apple inside the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Uh,
strange.
About the British.
And
yeah.
he is British and he lives in Portugal. And I say, oh, in Portuguese, let me try in Portuguese. I talk Portuguese for him
Mhm.
and very fastly, very quickly, and he, oh, I don't understand. Oh, yes, it's my case.
Now you get me.
Yeah,
I
it's
know how I feel.
Yeah. So the first company that I worked uh, for from the UK was a Scottish company, and as you can mention, Scottish accent is really hard to get. Even that, I have some Scottish folks in the company, this actual company, but it's always hard to understand. So sometimes even okay, are we speaking the same language? Because I don't think we are. So I have to ask them to repeat like 3 times. Uh, and the interesting thing is, even people who are born and lived all their life in England, they have difficulty with this accent. So don't feel bad for that. I had a lot of trouble with Scottish, British, not so much. British, I mean, the British English, right? The people from England overall. But for people from Scotland, yeah, the accent is very, very hard to understand and to follow. They speak so fast.
Yeah.
in my
Fernanda is
case,
asking if you work from Brazil or remotely. Actually, there's 3 cases here. Rodrigo, do you already work for a company from a different country, or you work for a
Yeah.
Brazilian company?
At the when I work with in a Valley Say mining company, I talking from people from India, part of the Middle East, like let me remember, Oman, Qatar, and Dubai. The accent is horrible. I have a uh, let me see. I have a problem to understand what they saying because it's extremely different. How, the way they say the words are extremely, yeah, funny.
Uh,
And the accent of the Middle East people is extremely difficult for me.
and it's very, very characteristic, right? So you know that
Yeah,
people is, if you only listen to the voice, you know that people is from certain part of the world for the way how they speak English. So for India guys, they have a certain accent. For people from Nigeria, the accent is remarkable. So if I speak from with a people from Nigeria, I can identify they are from there. Um, People from Middle East is one good as well. But the interesting thing is Polish and Romanians also have a lot of accent as well. Speaking with people who are not native English speakers is actually easier than speaking with natives because they speak more clearly, sometimes more slowly. So you, and of course, they are not native. We are not native, but that help us to understand better then. So if I have better conversations with people who are not native. Of course, Nigerians are native, but they have a different accent. And yeah, but yeah, I prefer to. It's easier for me to talk with people who are not native English. They have a different accent than from people from US or UK.
Um, when I was in Ireland, I went through hard times for not understand the Indian accent. Uh, I went to like a restaurant, and I'm choosing my food, and the guy said, "Oh, which sauce did you like? No, 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 or traditional?" And oh, I will not ask again to repeat because it's the second time, and I choose. Oh, I want the traditional. Oh, why? Why?
Yeah.
Traditional. It's the traditional taste from India. It's like
Like it's spicy, it's hot.
ice exactly. It's like I don't know the name. It's
Peri
um
peri?
no
Not
peri
peri
peri is
peri.
from Africa.
It's from
It's
Africa, right?
a good tasty, but it's like not chimichurri, but oh, it's it's not good.
curry.
Yeah, exactly.
Curry.
Curry, yes. Indian, no, not
Curry is great.
simple curry. Indian curry. It's
Mm.
like
No, it's very spicy.
the smell is like homeless smell in the
What?
food. Yeah, exactly.
Like a hobo?
One day you will put the points in the table, and oh, it's the same, the same smell.
I want to walk around the streets these days to smell a few hobos, and then I'll go to an Indian restaurant and smell curry, see if it matches.
Yeah.
But
Indian
Rodrigo
food.
didn't get it right. I mean, you did interact with people from abroad, but do you work? I mean, yeah, Valley is an international company, right?
Yeah,
But
I'm
do you
interact with
work for
them.
them? What is your current situation?
Okay, interact with them, managing some servers. When I worked there, I did the managing of servers and hosting, hosting files of in the veil from some regions like this part of the Middle East, like Oman, Qatar, and Dubai, India too. And we worked with uh, people from Pará too. And but the people that I work more proximally are from Pará. But we have some conversations with other countries because it is, we are work with hosting and have some servers hosting servers in this part of the Middle East.
I see. So you do work for a company for abroad, right? So just trying to summarize everything that because Fernando asked a question, who worked for where now? So Fernando, you have the word.
Thank you. You guys had a lot of experience before you tried to work abroad or remotely.
Who wants to start?
In my case, I started remotely at Valley. I worked for almost 2 years remotely at Valley, and after that, I received a job opportunity. I think it's in Twitter. Yeah,
Twitter.
yeah, Twitter. A job post on Twitter, and I tried. And in my case, I have looked because the guys in that time my English it's so bad. But the guys are from Brazil. All the guys in the team are from Brazil. In the dev team. It's okay.
In my case, I work first 4 years of my career was going to office every day. Then back in 2019, I started working remotely. So I spent 3 years working remotely for a company from here. And then after that, I started working remotely abroad. So I already have this experience of working remotely for a company before starting in a company from overseas.
So I'm starting working remotely in 2014. And in this time, I working did some services like freelance for a company from São Paulo. And if I count years, I think is 8 or 9 years working with software development.
I see.
Yeah. Good.
What about
Good
you,
amount
Faye?
of
You
experience.
can tell us about your situation, like what you're currently working on or for, and what are your goals?
Okay, my last work.
I want you to say that as well, but I was asking Fernando because she asked the question,
Okay,
and I wanted to know where she is in her career now.
Currently, I'm teaching programming and robotics to kids on Maple Bear. So I don't have much experience. I'm not so experienced on programming. But I really wanted to get a start on it, but I don't think I can start working abroad with no experience at a company or so. But the good part is I'm getting to practice on my English there. I teach in English. So it's a good point.
Yeah, but like, I mean, who is getting you to the next level in the school? The kids? I mean, do you feel like you're being challenged regarding your English?
No, not really.
I see. Yeah, the good thing that you keep it alive and you keep thinking about it, but being in a different environment really help with that, you know? Not
Uh,
like not being the smartest person in the room.
Fernando, what language did you
I don't understand.
what language did you teach? It's like Python or Scratch.
Yeah, it's mostly block programming. A little Python as well. It's the basics, But when I get graduated, I used to like web programming a lot, but I just let it go. So I'm very frightened by the idea of going back without this experience of working with it. I got lost in education. I don't know if I can change back.
Oh, it's a good area too.
You can work as a programmer for education companies as well. So that would, I mean, your experience in education should help you land a job in this niche, right? So you can learn to code better and then apply for jobs in companies that provide solutions to this audience, right?
Yes, I thought about that as well.
Interesting. Lucas, you raise your hand.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that this company that I work, I met a guy who came from education part, and he teach music. I think he
Wow.
teach guitar, and at some point of his career, he decided to switch, and he managed to land a job in IT, and I think you have even a bigger background that he had. So I think it's possible. It's totally possible. There's a lot of opportunities, and education itself is a IT industry nowadays. So there are companies that offer jobs. They are pure education companies.
Yeah, I feel like I had some opportunities to work with support, which I didn't like. I hate support. So my first opportunity with programming was for kids. Um, it's good because a lot of things that I didn't understand very well, I had to try to explain to them. So I ended up understanding it better. So I'm really looking forward to try to change switch areas or try to stay in education but abroad.
Good stuff. I was going to ask Victor and Rafael because I think Victor hasn't presented himself. If they want to talk something, and I think you lost Gustavo, right?
Yeah, the screen got
Yeah.
frozen.
Yeah, we may have lost Gustavo then. So, guys, anything that you would like to ask, you would like to ask me, feel free. No, have no worries. Any question is a valid
Um,
question.
my battery died now,
Mhm.
but I have a question for you about the travel. But when you started in this company and needed to move from another country, um, I was in Europe from almost 2 months, and it was a good experience for my career. And but it was so difficult because I don't made friends from there. You know, it's like the people are more like cold than us, and I don't know. What about your experience? What um
You mean overall like experience of living here and traveling around?
yeah, in the beginning specifically. to make friends, to be part of the country, part of the city, of part of a group of people. You know.
Cool. Is it's always hard when you move from a place to another, even if it is in the same country, right? So if you move to a different city, you have to basically start from scratch. You don't know anyone. You need to know people. What I did before I moved was look for Facebook groups and interact with people there. So there's a group in Facebook called Brasileiros em Londres, and there's a good amount of Brazilian people who lives in London, and they can give you tips about how to live, where to find things. Even people even sell things there, like small desks and chairs and TVs and other stuff. People who are moving to another city, they sell things there. But for me, it was hard because first, and it came as a surprise for me. The British is not so cold as you can picture them, right?
Mhm.
They are quite a little bit warm people. They have some opening for you to talk with them and and have some friendship. Uh, but it's hard. I think mainly because of your age, not exactly because of the place where you live, right? People who are in their late 20s or 30s, they are busy with a lot of things, children, family, and a lot of stuff, and that makes hard for you to make friends on your age. For me, I think I was lucky because before I moved, I started talking with some Brazilian people who lived here, and now they are my friends here. So we hang out together sometimes. Another thing that helped me a lot was to move into a building, and I found some Brazilians here. So I actually before I came back to the apartment, I was in the apartment of a Brazilian couple who lives in the same building as I am. Um, so it's possible to do it, but it's difficult. You have to actively look for that, actively talk with people, and maintain a friendship. But I think the effort will be the same anywhere you live, right? If you lived, if, if you move from São Luís to Fortaleza, you need to make friends there. You need to find people there to not feel lonely. And also helps to find a hobby. So for me, it's photography. Uh, so I have been practice lately, and by doing this hobby, you can find more people. You can walk a lot and know more places. So if you have anything that you like to do, please find a group that of people who have the same interest, and that will be helpful because you can share a lot of knowledge together. So find
I knew,
Brazilians.
I knew a lot of Brazilians,
Yeah,
but I don't made one friend, one British friend.
yeah. To be honest, like I know a lot of British folks, but to consider friend for real, I just have one, so they are not very easy to. It's not very easy to make friends with British people, but it is possible. And but my tips are find some Brazilians in the place and find any group of activity that you like to do. Like it can be sports, photography, um, food, anything that you do as a hobby. If you find a local group that does that, it will help you to know more people and make some friends.
One time, a British teacher in the school in London, I asked him, "Oh, what time do you make friends usually as an adult?" And he said, "Oh, I don't make friends. I don't make friends when I was when I was in this age, like an adult. I made friends when I was a kid, and it's the same friends from the life of the life. It's like this. It's so strange because in Brazil we have a lot of friends in the beginning of the life and the middle of the life and in the end of the life. I think it's cultural, but it's so strange and so lonely.
Yeah, I'm not sure about you guys, but for me, my experience is kind of like that. Most of the friends that I have, I made when I was a teenager, and some another batch of friends came from the college years. So after that, it's way more hard to make friends and actually to maintain that because situations change. And I now remember my mother. She used to make friends with someone, and then uh, this new friend need to move because the husband found a new job and is in different city. So was lost it, right? So you have the contact broken. So I think it's really hard, but yeah, if you have some good friends around, keep them.
IT issues.
Okay, there is a
Mostly introverts and hard to make friends.
yes, yes. For me, what I do is that there's meetup groups for for programming languages. I attend to them, and I
Mm.
meet a lot of people. Bad thing is a lot of more IT people who are already deal with this kind of people in the work, but it's a more relaxed environment.
Speaking of childhood friends, one of your friends is joining right now.
All right, good stuff.
Hey, Dan.
Hello,
Hey
Danilo.
guys, how you doing?
Hello, Danilo.
Nice.
Hello, man. I'm on
He was
time.
just talking about making friends, so he is betraying you. He's making new friends in England. Do you believe that?
I don't believe in it, Lucas. What are you doing in your life, man?
uh,
A betrayal.
okay,
I'm
there
your
is
I'm
a
not
fresh
the
fan,
best.
though. Remember it.
I live as a nomad. I don't know if any of you guys also live or aim to live this lifestyle, you know, of not having a house, not having a place to go back to. Um, but I do have a hard time making friends. I mean, I avoid making friends, so I don't, you know, get attached to a place. I'm always, you know, so like I cannot make decisions in this direction, otherwise I'll be stuck. And if I'm stuck, I won't be able to move elsewhere. But I'm trying to find balance in this sense, you know, and I do see value in. I mean, being a nomad is not only traveling all the time, but it's also choosing to stay if you want to. And there are a few things that I miss, like having classes, for example, having music classes, having uh, regular meetings with people, having a group of friends, playing video games, you know, like with other people. So there's a few things that we have to give up on when choosing this lifestyle. But I want to find a balance between these two things. Like, for example, I'm going to stay here for a year and then I move somewhere else, but I haven't found a place yet that invites me to stay for a year like this. I've been staying in a very cool place right now. I'm in an island actually in Rio. There's this island called Ilha da Gigoia, which is where I am. So, like we usually hear that Rio is usually hear that Rio is a dangerous place, and but this is kind of the solution because it's an isolated island, and it can do everything on foot. So everything is nearby. It is very like village like environment. it's surrounded by nature, which I love. So there's water and mountains and trees all around. It's very peaceful. Like if someone steals something, they have nowhere to run. And then you get a boat. Can you guys hear me? I'm having connection problems.
Yes.
Yes?
Just I can.
Okay. And then I get a boat, like in 1 minute, I cross the canal and I'm in Barra da Tijuca, which is a neighborhood that's got everything. The beach is a few blocks away. So it is a quite good place to choose to live for a longer time if I decide to do that. But I'm always like, oh, why should I choose to bind myself to a place like this if 6 months from now I could be across the world? I'm always overly optimistic regarding my future financial conditions, which is great. But me from making
It's
a
like crashing
location a
all the
group of
time,
people.
Gus.
Danilo is at the beach right
Sorry?
now.
Yes, I'm at the beach. Internet is
Oh, yeah, he
crashing, you know,
is.
like every time you speaking and it's stopping from nothing, you know.
Can you repeat that? Stopping from nothing.
It's like you were saying, I'm here. Say
You'll
the
see now. This is stopping in Curitiba, and
it's like your internet's not good, you know, like it's crashing sometimes
Oh, yeah.
in the middle
Yeah.
of
Sorry.
what you're talking about.
Yeah. One of the small, I think maybe one of the small bad things about being a nomad is not always the place where you live will have a pretty good internet connection. But it's totally manageable. I have seen some people. I really I have admiration for people who can do that. I could not because for me it's really hard to not have some kind of previsibility where I will be like in 6 months, 3 years or more. So I tend to plan more in a little bit more longer cycles. I find very interesting people who left it, who have this, and yeah, no life people who work and travel all the time. So I follow some software engineers on Instagram, and they are always in a different place: Portugal, Netherlands, France, and they spend some time, like 1 week or two, and they move to a different place. And I think there's some countries that are now giving some incentives for people who do that. Portugal is one. So you can go to Portugal and you have a special visa, yeah, for people who work like who live like this. It's very interesting, but I think it's not for me.
the people who really work and travel in the same time, because I choose the IT area because this reason, but I don't travel a lot.
but but yeah, there are people who literally does that. Here in UK, you travel a lot by train, so most of the trains are remarkable stable. You almost don't feel any sort of movement, and some of them you have a table. Like if you go to a restaurant, you have a table for four. You have tables like that. People get the laptop and they start while traveling for some place.
Yeah, these days working from the phone as well, sometimes you can make some decisions that don't require you to sit down and work. You can delegate, tasks and everything. So it's completely possible.
You don't have vacations, Lucas?
I do have, but the thing for this is I have 30 days off per year, but I'm saving these days to October when I will be going to Brazil. So I took almost 3 weeks off in October. But yeah, you have vacations. One thing that I
The
like about working, sorry,
the good child returns to the house.
I did get. I think Danilo said something, then Pierre.
No, I didn't say nothing.
Yeah, but I think Pierre has this experience. You can share your vacation, so you choose the date that will be off, and that's really nice because you can plan um, how to use your days off the best way that you can.
That's the good song. Thanks, Christoph. Yes, you don't need to um, the the vacation don't need to be our 2 weeks on a long term.
Yeah.
Can be just 2 days, and after 1 week, more 2 days.
Yeah.
So simple.
You need
Yes.
to go outside.
Yeah,
Sorry.
enjoy some holidays in Brazil. Like tomorrow, not tomorrow. The holiday in Brazil is tomorrow.
It is.
Yes, and if I want to be off the the another day, and Friday and Monday, I can choose the platform and enjoy the day off.
Yeah, it's way more flexible than how it works generally in Brazil. When you have, I think you can take like 15 days and then more 15, right? Uh, but yeah, I'm not sure. But I prefer you set up the days that you want to be off, and then you go. And actually, in October is the first time that I do this to have 2 weeks straight because I will be traveling to there. It's a long travel. I don't want to be to be worried by work. So I will be I will be 2 weeks off straight.
But in your case, can you sell 10 days like Brazil, like in Brazil?
Some companies allows you to do that, not all. Where I work, you can sell up to 5 days, not more than that. But to be honest, I prefer to take these days off anyway. You can 5 days is 1 week of work, right? So you can travel for for a different place.
Did you
Yeah.
have any vacations already since you moved?
Yes, I had. So the company, my company usually organize some get-togethers. So basically, we have a remote team. We have some folks in Poland, in Romania,
Wow.
some folks in South Africa, Spain. So twice a year, the company selects a city and we have a get-together there. What I usually do is, okay, going to a new place, and I will be working 3 days, like or 3 to 5 days in that place. What I do is I book 2 to 3 days off right after, so I stay longer,
Mm.
and I enjoy this city that I actually went to. Right, so I did this last year for Barcelona, and I did this in April for Krakow. So a good thing is the company already paid your flight tickets, so you only have to pay your hotel and food and the thing that you do around. So I spend I spend vacations mostly like this, or some days I just want to take a day off and go to a different place, like a park, uh, and just to ease my mind a little bit of the problems of the work.
Yes, to unwind.
And what about the process with the code in your case? The last
uh,
question.
yeah, that is an interesting thing because now I completed 1 year, one full year in UK. So I experienced all the seasons throughout this time. When I first got here was during the spring. We are in spring now, and the average temperature is something like 15 to 16 degrees over the spring. On the day, at the night, it can be a little bit lower. But for me, that was really cold because imagine I came from a city where the normal temperature is 30 degrees all the time. And then I was in an environment that is 15, 16 degrees. Then came the summer and was quite good. So it was 40 degrees outside, and that's fine.
Wow.
I was really very used to it. Then they came the autumn, and then I start to feel okay. That is getting really colder, and in from November to January, February, we got the winter here was quite heavy for me, but yeah, it was a good experience. I actually like the cold, but not so much. It snowed a little bit some days here. Some days we had snow and was like -5, -6. Uh, Most of December and January was really, really cold.
I got -5 in the UK. Oh,
Yeah,
in November.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. The temperatures really drop around this time, and the good thing is, depending of the which kind of house do you live, you feel more cold or less. I live in an apartment, so I feel less cold because imagine you have on your both sides you have other apartments. You have apartments above and below. Most of people turn on the heater, so the building is heated as overall, and what actually makes more bearable the things. But if you live in a house that is like a normal house in Brazil, is way more colder, so you will depend more on your heater. You feel more cold inside the house than you would feel inside an apartment. That's really interesting, and I managed to go well throughout the winter here. To be honest, I only turn on the heater for the apartment like 3 times. But the coldest days in the winter, I need to turn on the heater. So inside the house was like 20 degrees. Outside, -5.
Wow, minus
Yeah,
5 outside.
yeah.
What the fuck? I was in São Paulo with Danilo, and we had a heater in the Airbnb that we were sharing. And some days it was like 15 or 17, and we would turn it on, like, because it was too cold. But minus
Really?
5, something else.
Yeah, yeah. I got pretty cold, but I think for me, even UK was the lowest temperature. The more cold sensation that I got was in Paris. I don't know why. In there, it winds a lot, but temperature was around 3, 4 degrees. But I feel way more cold than -5 here. Even with the cold clothes that I was using.
Let me see. So, guys, we are approaching the end of our conversation. It's from 7:30 to 9. We're going to be having these conversations every Tuesday at 7:30. Okay. with a different guest every week. Lucas is also, of course, always welcome to come back, and Danilo as well. The aim here is for you to expand your network, for you to expand your vocabulary, your confidence to speak, your listening skills. At one point, I would like to see Rafael and Victor actually showing up on camera and talking to everyone. So it's okay if you're not in the level of confidence yet, but at least you are actually taking the step, taking the action to immerse yourself in this universe, which is essential for someone who has the goal of working abroad. I'm building a community on Discord where I would like the consultancy of some of you later, like which channels would you have there, like the programming languages, maybe job opportunities and so on. I will send the PDF to some of you. I think Hooch, I don't know, I don't have your contact, I believe. I think Lucas has, so I can send you the PDF with more information on joining the club. Okay. There's two plans. Which?
No, I just say okay.
Okay. Hi. Victor said something here. I'm dying right now. There will not be a good view. Okay, no problem. I don't want to see you eat. I was saying that we can choose from two plans. We can choose a plan in which we have access to the Discord community and to the weekly conversations. And there's also another plan in which you have also mentoring sessions with a specialist in recruitment and a specialist in language, which is great. So we can develop a mock interview, like a model of an interview focused on your professional goals and your background, So while the recruiter will be asking questions, they'll be listening and taking notes on pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, and so on. Okay, so we'll be focusing on the conversation club, and then on the side, we're going to have the mentoring sessions to work on specific paces. Okay, so guys, can some of you, maybe most of you, turn on the camera so we can take a picture? Victor's dining. Maybe he can go to a window, something. Fernanda's already there. Which can you show up real quick? Is it possible? Oh, there she is. Look at her. Half a Victor. I'll wait 5 seconds for half and Victor.
Everyone's posing already.
Okay, I'm taking the picture. Okay, Victor showed up. Look at him. He's chewing. Half, are you coming? I'm taking the picture. 5, 4, 3, 2. Perfect. Thanks a lot, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night and see you next Tuesday.
Bye bye. Thank you.
You
Guys, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.